Please tell about yourself. They know, many of them know, but I think they would want to know how you got a break, uh, how much time you spent in learning, and how you should approach casting directors, all that stuff. Because these people, they are just learning right now, and they are yet to get their
Mm-hmm.
break in the industry in Bollywood. Yeah.
So I think first the industry is very different in Bollywood than in Paris, or I mean, let's say Paris, USA, UK, it's all the same, and Europe, it's the same. But India is very different. I understood it thanks to you, by the way,
Yeah,
that
welcome.
it's another, yeah, it's another way of acting, not of acting, of approaching casting directors. I think it's very different, but we have common rules, and I can talk about this.
Right.
First, I personally spent a lot of time trying to find the right school because they were not teaching Meisner.
Uh-huh.
So I know you are teaching Meisner,
Yes.
and you also have different kind of Meisner teachers.
Right.
And for me, the more simple you are, the better. And the thing you posted today, you know, from Morgan Freeman, he
Right.
says, what I'm learning from my the other actors I'm working with is stillness. Like, do
Stillness.
the less possible, and the
Right.
camera will catch you. And it's the same, actually, for me, it's the same in theater, because you just have to project your voice, but you don't have to like overact. So for me, this, I spent a lot of time because I tried 6 schools. No, I mean, 5 schools. And the sixth one was the good one because they were teaching Meisner, and it totally changed my life because instead of trying to imagine, you know, or to remember emotional feelings, emotional, you know, like trying to remember the smell of the candle when my grandmother died. It, all those details were taking me out of the present moment.
Uh-huh.
So I was not happy because the other schools were trying to make me think and be in my head. And the
Right.
truth for me is to be right now with the other one in the present moment, as you know.
Correct.
And suddenly, with the last school, they just told me, sit, you know, watch the other one, your partner, watch him or her in the eyes and repeat or say your lines. And that's
Yeah.
it.
That's
What else? And
yeah.
the teacher even said, be careful, maybe you're going to be bored by acting. Maybe you will want to quit because it's so simple. When you understand that it's so simple, you don't have anything to do anymore. So maybe because human beings are a bit complicated, they always want to find problems. When you will understand it's so simple, maybe you will want to quit. So it was funny to understand how, you know, the mind, the human mind really works. And for me, it made the effect, the opposite effect. Suddenly I was addicted to it, addicted to the simplicity and addicted to the adrenaline that you feel when you are truthfully in the present moment. When
Correct.
you are really you're not acting, you're not doing things, you're just right now living
Living.
100%, you know, with the other one.
Right.
What else? That's so exciting.
That's so exciting.
So from this moment, I started to work because before, I don't know, I was not maybe in my right, I don't
Right.
know, place. Or and also you asked how much time I spent in learning, but I remember I was doing that all the time, all the time, all the time. I'm still working 24 hours a day. I mean, almost. I'm sleeping, but it's all and it's a bit. Also, I have to tell your students, take some breaks. Don't do like me because I forget sometimes to have some breaks, and it's not very good for health. And an actor has to be healthy. Like, our body is our instrument, so we have to sleep, we have to exercise, make sport, yoga, whatever, meditation, if it's your thing. It's my thing, but it doesn't have to be yours. But things that, you know, make your body and your state of mind healthy, because this is our tool. We are our own tools, so we really have to be in good shape, good health. When I say good shape, I don't say you have to be skinny. That's not what I'm saying. You can be skinny, fat, small, big, tall. We don't care. You just have to stay healthy because you want to stay alive. That's it. And you want to do your job. So, but yes, I work a lot. I exercise a lot. It's like a dancer. We're very lazy as actors, you know, because
Yeah,
the dancers, they work every day so much, so hard. So I think this is what you teach them, I guess, in the repetition with Meisner. It's like
right,
when you feel a bit rusty, you have to go back to it and be able to connect to your emotions
correct,
quickly and without
correct,
fear.
right,
And that takes a lot of time, a lot of exercise. You have to do it and do it and do it again and do it again and do it again. And then it's a game. It becomes a game.
correct. The more simple, the more better.
Always.
Always, always, always. So that
Yeah,
that's
I
where,
spent so much.
yeah, yeah, that's where Mr.
No, I
Starsberg,
spent many.
yeah,
Tell me. It's because we have a time tell me.
yeah, that's where the Starsberg and Alfred Meisner were uh, opposed to each other. Strasbourg wanted it to be complicated. Meisner wanted it to be simple. The more simple, the more better.
I think, I'm not sure, but from what I understood from our teacher who worked with Meisner, he
Right.
said that Meisner was not against, you know, Stanislavski and Strasberg. He was himself a student of them, but it's like a continuity. He made it more simple.
Correct.
He said you don't need to remember, you know, to do the 50 or 100 questions about the character. What is
Correct.
his biggest failure? Blah
Yeah.
blah blah. And when did he study what? Because when you're acting, like, who cares? After all, like, it's you, and maybe you need one or two things to show the audience that you are I don't know, physically you have something special, or you decide that this character is very, you know, strict, and you have to do something physically. But we have, I think Meisner kept the minimum, just what we need. And then
Right.
it's also, we have to let it happen. That's what is exciting. We don't know. And the feeling I have with Stanislavski and Strasberg is, it was a bit, everything was too much planned. You know, you have to think where you want to make the break and when we want, who knows? Like in life, you never know.
Right.
So it's the same.
Yeah. Great. So you understand? You want to ask her any question? Anybody wants to ask
Less
her?
is more.
Less is more. Anybody wants to ask a question?
I'm open to questions.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, ma'am. It's Neil this side. Uh, First of all, it's a privilege to be having this conversation here. And I have a very, like, I don't know if it's that significant or not, but what is the process if you're doing any character? I mean, for example, the movie you did for the you got into that character. So what is the process of you unlearning the real person you are and getting into that character? How do you process it?
For me, there is no process. There's
Mm,
nothing to do. It's less is more. It's exactly the same. When I acted Cleopatra, which is very strong, very different character, and in Fauda I'm Shirin, and the last character I played, I'm not allowed to talk about it, but I'm very mean. I'm killing people. It's very different from Fauda, where I'm more as a victim. I just think that I have everything in me, and you have a murderer in you, and you have a victim, and you have a broken child. You have them all already. You have them, and I think everybody have them. Have all the characters. I really believe we have all the human beings, you know, traits. We have them already. It's just like, if I really upset you, really much, you know, you're gonna be like frightening. But the minute after with your lover, you will be very tender. You have them all. So I just trust the text. For me, it's like, the little canoe that we use in Meisner. You said that the text is like a boat, like that is floating between you and the other character. If you really, really, really work on the text, because it's a mistake that a lot of actors do. They say, oh, yeah, I remember the lines. Let's happens and improvise. But with Meisner, it doesn't work because if you don't know the lines very much, it will become something in between you and the other one. You will be trying to remember the lines. So once you're free from that, and I want to be Shireen in Fauda, if I just say my lines and I really believe that it's not on me, because if you still look for the process, you're still very much on you. And I'm not talking about you, but actors, we're complicating things. Like, what is the process? If you do the minimum already very well, which is learn your lines and be strong enough to connect into the eyes for real, like really look at the other one, like don't fake it, really look and watch and stay silent. That's really like, that's a secret I want to give you. Always stay silent. When they say action, allow yourself to have 1 or 2 seconds. Wait. And if it's the other one starting, never mind. He speaks to you, wait 1 second and answer, just to connect, to be sure you have the connection. And all the time, I'm sure people will tell you there is something special when you act. Yes, because I'm vibrating, I'm connecting to the other one. And then if you have to say Cleopatra's line, Shireen's line, or the bad villain, the lines are already here. I'm saying when I'm a villain, I have your son and I'm going to kill him. What do you need more? Everything is in the text. Trust the lines.
Right.
And forget the process.
Wow. Okay. Actually, you simplified it.
Yeah. It took me 10 years to simplify it. And Meisner did it. It's so, actually, it is so simple. But it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, because when you just trust the text and your brain is going crazy, like, that's all. And you're starting to be frightened, like, no, I'm sure there's something missing. I'm sure I should do something else.
Right.
But already try to just say the lines with no mistake. You can do the lines, reverse way. You can do the lines by, washing the dishes. You know your lines. That's over. And then be strong enough to connect with the other one for real. That takes courage, actually. And you have a lot of actors, they're acting with you, and you see their eyes, they don't look at you because they don't dare really looking at you for real. You have the feeling that you act with them and they're not here. You're like, hello, I'm in front of you, but because they are frightened.
Right.
So that's the real and only process you have to work on is really connect with the other one.
No, I have to
and
believe.
Then it's not only you.
The believability.
Yeah, I don't even think you need to believe. You don't care. You just look at the other one. You don't try to believe something. You just, if I really look at you now, I can see so many things, and I will, watch your little smile in your eyes. And there's, as a human being, there is so many things already that I can capture from you. It's more than enough, actually.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else want to ask something?
Yes, I have a question. I don't know how to spell your name. Can you tell me?
Laetitia.
Tisha.
Laetitia.
How Leticia, right?
Fine. Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I'm afraid of surrendering. Even after I have learned my lines, there's a part of me chirping at the back of my mind that what if you risk yourself by forgetting the line when that moment comes, and if you forget that line, and my mind wants to control it, still wants to support me somehow, that uh, so much so that even when I memorize the lines wrote, even then I can recollect it in rote. Even when the scene is going on, sometimes the rote line reading comes to my head. So that's one problem. And the second is, yeah, I'm afraid of surrendering. Do you think there's any advice you can give me in order to trust the process more, to give it all out there?
Um, so I don't think it's a big problem that the lines are coming back. It's just it's actually because you really worked on it, and sometimes it comes back like it can disturb you for 1 second, but it's like in meditation. If you just accept it, it's fine. It will go. So yeah, okay, I have the lines coming back, and I see them written in front of me. It's fine. It's fine. It means they're here. And if you lose the lines, it's not a big risk actually, because you're doing I mean, it depends if it's theater or cinema, but in cinema you forget the lines, never mind, they will cut, the script will tell you that's the line, and actually you know it because you worked, so you will say, oh yeah, sorry, and it will not happen again, and it's fine. It's not a big problem unless you have like a real memory problem. I would say don't be an actor. But if it's just fear, it's okay, just allow the fear, like the other, it's allow the fear like the other emotions, you know. It's all about impulses. With Meisner, it's all about accept your impulses, right? Accept to suddenly you want to cry, or suddenly you want to shout on the other one, or suddenly you want to laugh and you don't even know why, you're doing like a drama and you want to laugh, right? It happens in Meisner, and in Meisner you're allowed to do it. So allow the fear of, oh my God, I'm going to lose my lines, and accept it. And if you do that for 1 second and you disconnect, when you do that, you disconnect with the other ones. I think you're aware that you disconnect for 1 second. Go back to the person with you. Go back to it. Look at the other person and accept silence. Again, it's fine. It's totally fine. Accept silence and something will come. That's the excitement. But if you have problems surrendering, you will have difficulties to accept the silence. And because just accept that nothing is happening. You have a teacher that is really kind with you. So when you do the repetitions if you accept this silence, he will not shout on you saying, what do you do? You know? So first of all, accept this, and I'm sure the lines will come back. And also you're allowed to have someone that, you know, gives you the lines outside, like a partner, someone, a friend. And and he will tell you, that's the line, you know. So
Yeah.
that's not even the director sometimes says, you know, and it's not a problem if it comes back in your mind and you see the lines written. It's okay. It happens to me all the time. I'm very visual, so I see where the line is on the page when I'm acting. It's fine. It's better to think about this than what happened when, you know, my cat was scratched by a car and I need to cry. No, you don't
Of
need
course,
that.
yeah. So it has happened with you
And
that
about
during a scene you memorize the lines and it just pops up in your head
all the time, no,
unintentionally, right? And
all the time.
I see. It's just a
But it's
matter of
fine.
acceptance and connecting, and I think that
Yes,
should be it.
if you accept it, actually, I mean, if you don't have this, how do you remember your lines? Of course you will have to have, you know, I really see the page. I see the page. I remember where is it, which color is it, and I remember really visually. But that's the basic method of the actor. You need to learn the lines, or you're allowed to remember the lines like this. It's fine, as long as you don't disconnect for too long with the other one. So you have to connect back to your partner and to be here with him, and allow that there is a moment that maybe he will look at you weird, like what is he doing. It's fine, you know, I'm looking at you. I'm seeing my lines, you know, I'm seeing the page. Don't worry. And this will also create a very strong vibration, because the other one doesn't know what is happening with you. You know, suddenly you stop and you watch him for real, and you try to remember your lines, and then it will come back. It will add to the scene. You will be stronger if you allow that. You will be much stronger,
Wow,
because
that's
you have to
amazing.
be fearless. Yeah, you have to be fearless and accept that you don't know what is going to happen, and it will help you also for the surrender, to surrender to anything, because if you surrender to the fact that you can forget your lines and they will come back, you will also maybe like step by step surrender to I have big impulses and I can be very mean and I'm not doing it, but I would like to like scratch this person against the wall, and I have this in me, like I have this hate, I have it, and I have this love for this man and this woman and for both, for everything. I'm full of love, but it's frightening. Yes, we have it.
Yeah. What
Amazing.
what she means is that you and we as a human, we have all kinds of behavior already inside us, whether it's love, whether it's hate, whether whatever. So whatever character is going through, you just bring that out and shred everything else. That's it. It's so simple from within you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
It's just trusting. You trust. You trust that you have it. It's, and for me the hardest thing is to allow myself to cry. That's the most difficult thing for me. And all the time I'm like, I'm a bad actress. After all these years I still have difficulties to cry. Why? And when the camera is not on me, I cry like this. I could cry now, you know, but when the camera is watching me, I'm like I can't do it, and I have to reach the point where I'm desperate and I'm like, okay, I'm not making it. It's over. The director will fire me, and suddenly I'm so desperate that I'm crying. And I'm like, okay, cool. Go back on the lines, because it's just like I opened, you know, I just opened the emotions. I have other techniques to open, you know, the with Meisner and everything, and allowing, you know, the, but sometimes I'm not perfect, and for crying it's hard for me. And but whatever you think of, I'm just giving you one advice: never think of someone that is already dead. Like, don't think of things that really happened, because it will work one time, and then the brain is it's for real, like it's a scientific fact. You can find things online, or I can send you some things. If you use
Mhm.
an old memory, like the death of your grandmother, parents, anything, it will be heartbreaking for the first one, the first stage. Then the brain is very quickly creating, it's, I think it's called in English, how do synapse or neurons, I don't know, like around the neurons, like it's
Uh-huh.
okay, neuronal things. It's creating things in your brain to protect the memory. They've seen it, you know, like for real. It's I will tell you which book is it.
So the brain
So
makes a protection mechanism against the emotion that's been released.
if it's something that is in the past that really happened, the brain is protecting you, so it will work one
Ah,
time, and the time you think of the death of your brother and you're like, whoa, I'm not crying anymore. Okay. And another time, I don't feel anything anymore. It's
yeah.
because the brain is protecting you, and it's not used the way it should be used. You're still allowed to be in pain for in real life. But if you do that, we don't know why, but the scientists discovered that it's not working anymore. So this is why Stanislavski sometimes can be dangerous and actors finish crazy, because they use some memories from the past. So don't use that. If really you need to, my advice is to use things, imaginary things that could happen in the future, because the brain is not, it has nothing to protect. It doesn't have a memory to protect. So you can imagine things, and actually the brain is not able, they also discovered that the brain is not really able to make the difference between something that is happening to you and something that you imagine is happening. This is why in the dreams you wake up, you know, with sweat everywhere, because you really believed it. And so you can use that in acting, things that are in the future and didn't happen, because it will work. Otherwise, it won't work and you will finish mad
I
or
see.
suffering because you will try all the time to find another memory. So, and the best thing is just to look at the other one in the eyes. And actually, sometimes in Fauda, for instance, I was so surprised. The scene where I see for the first time in season 2, I see Doron, like the man I was in love with, and we were separated. We sit, we do this scene for the first time ever, and we look at each other in the eyes. And that's it. Suddenly I see his eyes coming, with tears and mine, and we don't know why. It's not written. We didn't write that. But it's just because I connected with him, and that's it. Human beings, we are only emotion. We are emotion. So if you trust that, you will find a lot of emotions that you don't expect, which is even more exciting.
Amazing, Leticia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody has any question?
Yes,
So
I have a
I
question.
Ananya ask. Yeah. Ananya ask.
okay, so basically lately I'm a very emotional person, so and sensitive as well. So lately I had a shoot and I was going to give a shot. I had a scene to perform and I was taken over with my emotions and I couldn't perform. I couldn't just get out of my head. And I was like, I don't know what is happening. And I felt like a loser. I thought I'm like a loser, like I couldn't perform. So I don't know, just suggest me something. What should I do in that kind of situations?
Why were you emotional at this moment?
Yeah, so I was going through a few things and I was going through some emotional turmoil. So that's the reason
So it wasn't linked to the scene.
No, not at all. The scene was a happy scene, and I was emotional. I was
Okay.
crying. I was so so I couldn't perform really well.
Well, the advice I've been given, and it's hard, but I always heard that once you put a step on the set or on the theater stage, you leave everything behind. And I know it's hard, but for me, were you acting with someone
Yes.
in the scene? Yes. For me, again, the answer is the other one. Because with Meisner, we have the luck that this technique is not focusing on you, it's focusing on the other one. So if you really focus on the other person, this other person is not crying. This other person is really here. And you really see them and you don't ask them to make you laugh. You don't need to. They're not, crying. So if you want to be professional, you have to like your safety how do you call when you are in the sea and you have a safety belt? Your safety belt is actually again the text and the other one. So you have to grab the text like a safety belt. And if I was, I think, in your position, very sad for something, I would do like an exercise saying the lines again and again, because the lines are happy lines. So if you say the lines like a robot, like with nothing, say the lines, at one point it will, you know, vibrate with you. And if you focus on the lines and then with your partner, and you will be forgetting your emotion. Actually, in I always say that, but it's the real true secret to be a good actor is to forget yourself. You're not here anymore. And funnily enough, when a scene is very, very good, you don't remember it. You say, I don't know what I did. I don't remember. And around you, the director is like, it was amazing. And you don't know because you were with the other one. You don't remember what you did. You don't remember because you were living, you were alive, and your attention was on the other one. So you saw the other one, you don't know what you did. So I think it's that's the secret when you don't feel good, is to force yourself, like a military thing. Even, you really force yourself to focus on the lines, and you repeat and you repeat. And if it's, your brain is like a little kid. If you give the text to your brain, He will forget that he was sad for a moment, and you still have time to come back to it later. So it's like a trick, but lines, 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 and partner. I hope it will work.
Thank you so much.
And it's fine to be emotional, and it's totally fine to be
Yes.
also an emotional person.
Yeah, and I
It's
I
fine.
had this little control over my emotional instincts, so like I think we should work on it.
Yeah, but it's to compartment things, you know, like you have life, work, and actors. Sometimes it's hard to make the difference because the other people, they're going to an office and they're surrounded by, you know, person in the office. So suddenly, if you're sad, you forget that you're sad because you have your computer in your office. But our office is the text and the partner. So you have to
I'll keep that
be
in mind.
strict
Thank
with
you.
yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else has question about
I
casting?
have a I
Yeah.
have a question. So,
Your
sorry
face.
about the video. Sorry about the video. I don't know, some issue with my front camera, so it's not connecting.
No problem.
So
Problem.
yeah. So, for example, like if you get a character, like if you study the thought process of the character and the conflict is too much with how we think, and like sometimes when what happens, like when you try to get deep into the text, there are some things which you don't understand about the character, and it's very difficult to express them. So, what do we do about such things, like in terms of character research?
So it's funny, but it's what I said at the beginning. I spent 10 years to do character research, and suddenly when I started Meisner, I said, that's over. I'm not doing that anymore, ever, because we don't care. For, in my opinion, nobody needs to know anything. They don't need, I mean, the only thing that will see the audience will be you and the lines you have to say. So sometimes I do like a little game. I don't read the script. I read only my lines. My
Right.
character, my character doesn't know what's happening in the script. Why should I know? So I just have my lines, and it's actually hard maybe to understand, but because it took me some time to get there, to get where I am now. And it's just that but I swear to all of you that the more simple you will get, the more freedom you will have. Because if you think, I don't know what happened to this character at this point and blah, 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 you're like adding, it's like you're carrying many things. So you're not free. If you suddenly, you don't care because you have your lines, and that's more than enough. I have no idea in Fauda. I have no idea what this character has been through. I didn't even know that my father was French. They added this information after we shot the series. So I didn't need to know that my father
Right.
was French. And that I studied in France. They just asked me, to do some pictures in Paris because she spent some times in France, but we didn't know. We didn't even know when we shot that what would be my story. And I didn't need to know because when I'm acting now with Doron, like in Fauda, with my character or with Walid, what do I care about my father or friends or my studies before? It's now and now and now, and that's it. So I have the lines, I have the now. I don't need anything. So I'm not doing any research about the characters. And I think it's again more, it's being more courageous not to know. So for me, less is more is really, really again, like I know it sounds a bit repetitive, like what I'm saying, but it's because it's true.
Right, but like that kind of freedom you might have gotten from the director and writer, right? Sometimes like the writer really wants you to be in alignment with what your character is, not about the other characters, but your own character. Like if you face conflict with playing what the character feels is what I'm not able to crack.
I know her
You
question.
know,
I think she means how to adjust your point of view to the character's point of view.
Yes, right.
but can you give me one example when you need to know the character point of view? You already have the lines. Everything is written in the lines. How could you need the character point of view? It's written in the lines. What do you want to add? What do you want to add? Intelligent things that we don't need, actually. I know it's a bit weird to hear. The only problem sometimes is when the director is coming and tells you, so what do you think the character is going through now? And all the time I'm like, so I imagine things. I make him happy, but he can say whatever he wants. I always say, so I think that I see like the minimum thing and say, what do you think? And then he says what he thinks, because this is actually what he wants. He just wants to tell you what he thinks. But he came, with a question. But the truth is, he wants to tell you what he wants. So you say, what do you want? What do you think? And then you listen, and then you forget. Because you can, if you want, don't forget, take it. If the director says, I think she's desperate at this moment, and her point of view is that she's been betrayed by her lover and she wants to kill him. Okay, so she's very upset. That's her point of view, is that she doesn't trust him. That's the kind of things you were asking about, right?
Right.
And so you take everything, but if you really work with Meisner, I'm desperate, I want to kill him, and I don't trust him. If I don't work with Meisner, what will I do? I'm desperate, like, I will add this. I want to kill him, so I will add like, like this. I'm making things big, but just to make you understand. And I don't trust him, so like, I'm heartbroken. So I'm going to play the scene like this, with this thing. But then if I do Meisner, I have everything, but suddenly maybe I will laugh on the scene because I want to kill you so bad that, it's crazy. And your stupid face right now, I mean, not you, the character, my partner, like you betrayed me, and you start maybe to laugh because he's ridiculous. He betrayed me. He's losing like a girl like me. And suddenly you're going to laugh. If you do Meisner, you're free. You're allowed to laugh. And the director will come back to you and say, that's amazing. What did you do? I didn't think about this. And if you don't do that, if you are not totally free with the other one, you will add, like despair, heartbroken, and betrayal. And you'll be heavy, and you'll be able to give only one color. Because that's the point of view of the character. If you get rid of that, listen to what the director says, and listen to even what you want to add. If you want to say, okay, she's like this, that's her conflict. I don't even care about conflict with characters, because it can change in the scene. With Doron, in the scene I was talking about, we were not supposed to cry. I was supposed to be upset with him. And it's one of the most beautiful scenes of the season 2, because suddenly I was supposed to be upset, but I look at him and I cry, because that's it. That's Meisner. You never know. So it's much more stronger than anything you will prepare. You can prepare conflict, blah, 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 if it makes you feel better, but then allow yourself to be free, because life is stronger than you.
Right.
Stronger than anything you could prepare. But sometimes you're right, we need to give answers to the director, so you can be smart enough to. But for me, I do that because we are much smarter when we forget everything and we are like blank pages. But we can be smart enough to give some answers to the director, and then, allow ourselves to be free, to be actors, to be creators, and to be surprised.
Right. Thank you.
I hope it answers your question.
Yeah, it did.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I just want to ask one question.
Yeah, hi, Vyom. Ask.
Hi. I just want to know that, like.
Wait a minute. Vyom, I think, is a big fan of Fauda, from what I know.
I am a big fan, yeah. I searched all the international series, like which is the best one, and I tried all of them. and then I just got this and I just felt it.
Yeah. Ask.
So I just want to know ki, how will you differentiate between the characters when you are just living in the moment and just following the text and all that? Like how will you differentiate when you jump from one character to another and when you play different characters? How do you trust the text and how do you create the different characters in you? Wouldn't you be afraid that they will be all be the same and your patterns will come? Like I feel that thing. Like if I try to be in the moment and just let it through, then my patterns and my behaviors and my whatever my patterns come out all the time.
For for me, I think we are surrounded by the set design that is different all the time, where the costume is different, the haircut, even for a guy, it can be different. And for me, you have nothing to do. It's the same. It's the same. Less is more. When they dress me with the Cleopatra fringe and everything, the only thing I have to do, again, like I said before, it's physicality. For Cleopatra, I was, like standing like this and saying my lines, a bit like a queen. That's it. For Shireen in Fauda, I have all the weight, of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but I didn't have to act it because when I say the lines that they wrote for me, I'm saying, no, please don't kidnap my mother, don't kill her. Like I'm not gonna play like this. Don't kidnap my mother. If you just say the lines, for sure you're gonna be in a different position and say, please don't kidnap my mother, don't kill her. I have nothing to do. And if now I just played this very bad villain, they put me with high heels like this, and I had to just the costume I had was making me act a different way. But I don't have to think, I don't have to add layers. It's just, if I just say the lines, I'm going to kill you very calmly, the same way as Cleopatra could say, to Caesar, no, Egypt is my country. Or even we could say Shirin when she's proud and she's, with she's handcuffed, and they say congratulations, you're married to Walid now, and he's the most researched man in Israel. And I say, and they ask me, where is he? It's the same thing. I'm just saying, I will never tell you. But actually, everything else around me, we're not alone as actors. Everything is working for us. So the set design, the costume, the haircut, the makeup, and the lines are working for us. So for me, you shouldn't be afraid of, even for a man, I'm not saying because I have, hair up or hair down. Actually, if you are, it's again the same thing. You have to trust that it's enough. It's actually enough that you do your lines and the other ones around you are working for you, with you, So I don't know, maybe I'm wondering, tell me, but I don't think in Bollywood it should be different because you also surrounded by other characters, and the light as well, the person who's making the light. If you film, if your character is always like Shirin, she's always, she's forced to stay at home, forced to stay at her apartments and at the hospital. So everything around you is working to build a character. It's not only on your shoulders that you have to build your character alone. Everything is building character for you.
Yeah, just trust the situation and surroundings.
Circumstance.
Yes, it's
Circumstances.
everything.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Place, location, circumstance, everything. Makeup,
Circumstances.
costume, right? Yeah.
And also also the other one, like the person you're acting with, if you're acting with a dangerous character, it will create your character. Because if the person in front of you is dangerous, you will be different. If the person in front of you is super sexy, your character will change instantly. you will be
Yeah.
attracted. So just trust. It's again, just trust what is in front of you.
Okay. A question from my side. How long did you learn Meisner? 2 years?
So for me, it was in different parts because I did 1 year in Paris. Then I did 15 days every day, 8 hours a day in New York. And in 15 days, we learned exactly the same thing as in 1 year because the technique is very clear. It's very simple. You have A, B, C, D, you know, it's very, so the difference is when you do it on 1 year, you come one day, you let a few days, you come back, you let a few days, you're not going, you know, to school every day. And when you do it on 15 days, very intensively, you just redo the same thing, but it's totally different because suddenly it's a workshop and your head is fully in the workshop. So you learn differently. And then I did it a bit in London, and then I kept going. I kept going back for what they call open sessions.
Yeah.
How
Open
do they
classes.
call that?
Open
Open
classes.
classes. Yeah, so you just drop-ins also.
Drop in.
So you just come. Yeah, you drop in. You don't know the person in front of you. You don't know anything, and you start, doing repetition just to see if you're rusty. So I think it's like a dancer. You could, when your teacher or you think you're ready to work, you go and you work, but you come back sometimes, and sometimes also with your other actors friend. If the teacher sometimes is not available, you can organize workshop and then go back to school. It can be like 1 hour. You just do, we were doing that with other students, like before the school, before the lesson, we were meeting and we were doing 1 hour of repetition just to, to arrive warm. And so yeah, I think it's with this technique, it's a life technique. You are able to come back your entire life, just to come back to see where you are now. Like, I am still able to listen to the other one. Am I still open to really listen to the other one, or did I take some bad habits and now my ego grew big and I don't listen to people anymore? So you go back to repetition.
Right.
And you have a teacher who said, no, you didn't listen to him, you didn't listen to her, you didn't really listen what she gave you, you didn't receive the impulse she sent you. Let's redo it. So it's very humbling.
Right.
This technique, you have to stay humble, otherwise
Right.
it doesn't.
And I have this experience. Some students, they, when given feedback, they can't take it. Right? They can't take the feedback.
Sometimes, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to take the feedback because we are not working, let's say, on building something. We're working on us. So sometimes it's hard to listen and to hear. You're not here, you're not ready, you're not you. And sometimes it's fine to be not to be ready. It's okay, I'll be ready tomorrow. You have to allow yourself also. You're not superheroes, we're human beings. So today I did my best. It's always like, do your best, do your best, even with your lines. Yes, do your best. Sometimes you will forget them, they will come back.
Right. Correct.
And actually, if you relax, if you just say do your best, and less is more. Like, I don't need to do much, I just need to do just what is needed, and I'm doing my best, not more than my best, just my best. So you allow yourself to relax also during the work. And if you are relaxed, you listen to the other one. If you're stressed, it means your body is not ready. And I'm sure I'm curious, but I'm almost sure your students will say the same thing as us in Paris and in New York. When you start the repetition, the temperature of the body is going we're getting warm very quickly. You want to undress because it's too much. It's because the energy and the vibration is really very, very high. And sometimes you're not ready for that. So you don't go. Or you go, but you stay, you know, at a level, you allow yourself to be in the truth of your present moment. And also, my teacher was saying that Meisner is like a boxing ring. A ring, you say? So if you start a repetition, be ready to maybe, you know, have to, you know, to be punched in the face, not for real. You know, it's not allowed to like kill the, you know, hit
Right.
people, but emotionally you have to be ready. It's strong. Emotions are strong. So if you stand up and say, yes, I want to do the repetition, be ready. And if you're not feeling in a good mood today, but still you want to go and stay quiet. And at the moment that it's going beyond your limits, you're allowed to say, okay, stop. That's the rule as well in Meisner. You're allowed to say, stop. Okay, I'm too much for me. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Great. Any question? Anybody wants an audition tip from her?
Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah. Ask.
So hello, ma'am. I have a question related to auditions. So I am sure you might have had many bad auditions and many good ones as well. So my question is, what was that which separated your good auditions from the bad ones? Like anything you did, you are aware of, which made the audition successful, at least most of the times. That is one thing. And another
Yes.
thing is, at least in India, right, when there is a partner, you know, usually the casting guy who's speaking the other lines, he's usually mechanical. So it's not very easy to connect with
Yep.
him. So what do you do in such situations? Is there a separate technique you follow for that particular situation, or you again simply connect with him, even though he's mechanical?
Yes. So in France, it's exactly the same. Casting directors, most of the time, they're just giving you the lines mechanical way, and also they are behind the cameras. Sometimes they don't even look at you, and you're like, "Rah, what are you doing? I'm trying to act here." And actually, since I started Meisner, I used it. And this is when I'm becoming good in audition. It's like I'm not prepared for anything. Anything can happen. And if this person in front of me is not watching me in the eyes and is giving me the lines mechanical in a mechanical way, I'm going to connect with exactly this. And I don't know, maybe I will be, you know, upset. Maybe I will start laughing about it because, you know, like when you want, you know, you can watch, you can look at me when you want, but you use it. You just use it and you allow yourself to use it. And actually you will make a difference compared to the other actors, because the other actors with not the Meisner technique, they will, you know, try to say, hello, I'm here, look at me. And they will be disturbed, you know, like, I'm not doing a good audition, she's not, or he's not looking at me. But if you don't care, because you have your lines, you know your lines, and you are super strong with your lines, anything can happen. And this is also when the bad auditions and the good auditions, the difference. The first question you asked, all the time the bad audition were like the ones that I was not ready with my lines, all the time. Because when I'm super ready with my lines, what can happen? He can, or she can ask you for anything. You can do the lines, you know, in any direction. And if she's not listening to you, you can do the lines alone. You don't even have to look at him or her. Who cares? You're free, you're strong. And if you're super strong with your lines, and you remember that nothing is expected from you. But the hard thing is, one time, it was 3 months ago, I work with my acting coach on the scene, and we don't work in imagining what we could do. We just work in saying the lines super strongly, and then I look at him and I connect, and we'll see what happens. And he's not even a good actor, my acting coach, but he sees when I'm not with him. And sometimes he's like, hey, I'm here. So we work on that. And he says, and he's right, he says, it's written, she has to cry, but we don't care, you know, with Meisner, anything can happen. So just go. And I arrive and the casting director says, okay, you want to start by this, the scene where you are upset, or you want to start by the crying scene? Which means I have to cry. And suddenly my brain is like, oh my God, I have to cry. So I was not ready for that. And I thought I could, you know, do Meisner and see what happens. And suddenly he wants me to cry now. That's the scene. So that can happen. And in order not to do a bad audition when it happens, what I did is like, I said, okay, I need 15 seconds, 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds. And it's again this silence, you know, I turned my back to the camera and I just allowed myself to feel I'm panicking. I'm not ready. I don't know how I'm going to cry because it's hard. Maybe I won't cry. It's fine. And when I was breathing like this, and suddenly, because I allowed myself to ask for this moment, and it was 30 seconds. I had the feeling that it lasted for 10 minutes, but it was 30 seconds. But the emotion was so big because I was, you know, I was daring asking for 30 seconds, and I turned my back to the wall, and suddenly I start vibrating. You know, it means being in the state of acting. And then I turn my, you know, back to the camera and I say, I'm ready. And I was not sure I was about to cry or not. I didn't know. But because I allowed myself to do it, then I said the lines. And then the director came to me actually during the scene. He was giving me the lines. And I said, what could I do? So for 1 second, I was thinking, but I was still connecting with him. And I touch him here. I put my hands while I was giving the lines. And because I was connecting with him and it was so strongly, suddenly I started to cry. So because I was frightened, I didn't know how to access my emotions. So the fact that I touched him made it can be anything. Another time it could be maybe shouting on him will make my emotion appear. We don't know. And I didn't think about it. It came. I allowed it. I allowed the impulse. The impulse came to touch him. It could be the impulse is coming to shout on him. So to make the difference between a good and a bad audition, the good one is the one you are allowing yourself, but you stay in the limits. The limits are you don't, punch people. You don't go out of the camera frame, and you say your lines and you know your lines. Once you have this, you allow yourself to do anything, and whatever is asked from you by the casting director, you say yes. You try to give what they asked, but still you allow yourself to see what happens. And it's more frightening, but this is when you become a good actor.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah. Ask anybody any question you want to ask. And that's the last one. You have to go, right?
Yeah.
I'm Kushal here. I got a question. It's a real privilege talking to such experienced actor. My question is that what you do just before the scene. I mean, you're prepared for the scene, you've done your emotional preparation, precipitating circumstances, and now you have 5-6 minutes, you're free for 5-6 minutes. And then the scene will take on. In that point of time, what you do? Because in that case, to me, that is the most difficult period for me. I'm this much confident when I'm prepared, and then I have 5-6 minutes free. I'm just not thinking anything. Then a thought will come: what if I fucked up? What if I didn't connect? Then my motivation level goes down, and my heart is just pumping so fast at that point. It's so difficult. So, what's your advice to me that what could I do to remove those things from my mind?
So again, there are different Meisner teachers and techniques, but with the technique that I'm in love with, let's say, I don't pay too much attention to the given circumstances. I learned to do that. I know how to think about this, but I feel that it's good to do it before. It's also good to forget. Also for the emotional preparation, you have to do it a bit, but it's not the main thing. Is not this. That's just little tools. It's tools, you know, to help you understand and to reassure your brain. But then the 5-6 minutes just before the scene, these are the most important minutes. And what you said is, this is the moment when you're allowing your brain to come and disturb you. The little voice inside your head, you know, saying, you're not going to be able to do it, and you don't know your lines, and maybe you didn't work enough. You have to, like in meditation, you said, okay, I heard you. I don't need you. Thank you. You don't need that. The only thing you need to focus on is what? Your body, your emotions. So what I'm doing is I'm putting my hands, you know, I'm touching a bit my face. I'm touching here, the muscles, you know, around the heart and the solar plexus here. And I'm just connecting to stay here. Because what you did, you're doing is you're leaving. You're leaving the room. You're thinking, you know, like, oh my God, you're not here anymore. So I'm touching my body just like this. And sometimes I also do a little connecting with my voice, like like this. And I say my lines again and again and again, like a robot. Why? Because if I do that, I'm sure I'm not going to freak out because I forgot my lines. And also it forces me to stay here. And I don't let any room in my brain to fear, because why would I be fearing anything? I'm working. Leave me alone. I'm saying my lines. So you say your lines again and 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 again. And if someone wants to disturb you, you say, I'm not ready, you know? And you don't listen to people. Really, the main thing before acting a scene is to be disturbed by other ones. That's also a human being thing. They always want to come and, you know, disturb you, some actors, because it makes them feel better because they didn't work enough. So you don't listen to them. You say, little smile, yeah, cool. And then you go back. You say your lines. And that's it. And nothing can disturb you. You really have to be serious when you want to be a good actor. You have to be working. And working is that it's your body, your voice, you know, really your voice has to vibrate as well the correct way. If suddenly I start speaking like this, because, you know, no, we have to be, it has to vibrate here. Because if you vibrate well, people will receive the lines very well. So you stay here and you say lines. And you're not complacent with you. I'm not sure about the word. Like you don't let yourself be disturbed by anything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. So I keep telling these people, my students, I keep telling them, keep coming back to class. I don't charge you double for the repeating same thing. Give time. Stay in the class. I'm ready to give you time. Keep practicing the repetition. Keep practicing the Meisner. You know, that's why I tell you, she practiced so much for years. That's when she becomes like this. You come for a month and then you disappear for a year. That's now not how you are going to become an actor, right? You have to practice. You cannot take a course for a month and disappear. And then, oh, I was busy and this thing happened. Life is life. Things happen in life. We have to move on. Keep moving on. We have to be in touch with our instinct. That's the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
To connect with another.
If you want to be professional, that's the thing. If you have to take it like a profession, and it's a profession, so you have to keep coming back. And also because it's body technique. Things in the body it's like imprinted in your body, and the ability of connecting with your emotion is something that can get rusty very quickly. So you have to keep coming back. You have to keep working, even if it's not every day, of course, but you have to be on a regular basis. You have to come back because it's a gift that you're giving to yourself. Because you'll be more ready, you'll be more prepared than the other ones. If you do that, you'll be more strong and you will win. And you will get the audition because you are ready. And You're not weak and full of fears, because all the fears, you're working on that in the lesson, with your teacher. You're working on your fears, you're working on the surrender, working on everything, and then you go to the audition. You're stronger than the other ones because they're not working. And I'm telling you, actors, they're lazy, they're not working, and the one that are succeeding are the one who work. Or sometimes you have someone that is lucky, he's discovered, he didn't do anything, she didn't do anything, and suddenly what happens? If she wants to have a career, she has to work on herself, she has to take classes, otherwise it doesn't work.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody please turn on your camera, let's take a picture. Whoever is present, Aditya, Ashna, Divya, Nishant, yeah, Vipul, Ashna, are you there? Nishant? Okay, let's take a picture. Big smile. Yeah, there she is. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Leticia, for coming and giving so much valuable feedback to these young and aspiring actors who want to work in India. Yeah, and I know that your upcoming series name on Apple TV that is coming. I congratulate you for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They have posted it on Google with the actor from Ocean's 12 and Eva Green, right?
Yes.
Right. So I'm excited to see that. We will be looking forward to see you in that, and we wish that you keep progressing, you keep acting, keep doing great projects like Fauda, and I personally also wish, and I know that everybody here wish, that we want to see you in some Indian project. Definitely a good Indian project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would be very good.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe.
Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you for the work you are doing. It's really good.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Leticia.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.